Oh wait, fuck, it's not Halloween yet. Why am I even wearing this mask if it's not Halloween? I can't watch any of these films till Halloween. What else am I supposed to watch? Well, you can always see what's trending on Netflix. Real Steel, directed by Shawn Levy, was a summer blockbuster that came out back in the early 2010s, specifically the summer of 2011, starring Hugh Jackman, out of all fucking people, and produced by Steven Spielberg. Was a film that I completely forgot it had existed for the last 9 years of the rest of my existence, until all of a sudden it came out on Netflix and started trending on the top 10 page. My best bud Nick and I finally decided to get on Discord, have a watch party together, and despite getting distracted over talking about memes or literally anything else but watching the actual fucking movie, we saw the movie an entire sitting one night, and here is what I thought about the movie. But yeah, really, no joke. Real Steel is not a film I even remember thinking about or remember existing for like the last 9 years of my life. It literally was not until I saw it trending on Netflix, like this huge, like, That's So Raven flashback style came into my mind, and I realized, oh my god, I remember this film coming out as like this huge summer blockbuster that like had like the craziest ad campaign that no matter what fucking channel I was on, there was constantly like nothing but ads of just robots beating the absolute shit out of each other. It looked cool, but it was kind of a time where, you know, my family and I lost our fucking house and kind of left the country, and we're living in Peru, so we weren't really into going to the movies at that time, and I was a little kid, so I couldn't just tell my mom, I know we have no money, but can we go please watch this random summer blockbuster where robots beat the shit out of that? That actually would have been really cool. The first movie I saw in Peru was Cars 2. Pixar's worst fucking movie. What was wrong with me? It's just like, Steven Spielberg produced this thing. My literal god. That guy, the one who made this, he produced Real Steel. I was not aware of this. But yeah, and because of all that information, and mainly my best friend Nick bugging me constantly to watch the movie, because apparently he also fucking loved the movie without me knowing about it, we decided to get together, aka set up a Discord chat one night, and from 10 p.m. up to 3 a.m., because we did not shut the fuck up about other things instead of watching the fucking movie, so I had to sit down, I got some popcorn, made myself a sandwich, got some Inca Cola, and we just watched the shit out of Real Steel. And I gotta be honest, for a movie that I never thought I would ever be going back to again or thinking about, that was pretty goddamn good. I now kind of understand why everybody just would not stop talking about this movie back in 2011. In defense, 2011 wasn't really that exciting of a year when it comes to films in the first place. Like, aside, what came out in 2011? I'm gonna find that out right now. Let's see what came out in 2011. Okay, literally Super 8 was actually pretty cool. Oh, the remake of the... Oh, no, the reboot of the thing. Was it the reboot or the sequel? I think it was the sequel. Apollo 18? Cabin in the Woods? Oh, it wasn't all that bad, actually. Wow. Oh, wait, didn't Green Lantern come out this fucking year? Yeah, I'm quite sure Green Lantern came out this year. That's, like, the other thing I remember of that year. Yeah, fuck 2011. I also had Cars 2. There's nothing good in 2011. Either way, no matter how good or not that year was when it comes to films, I wasn't really that interested in film at that point in my life at that moment, because first off, I was a little kid, so, you know, or most importantly, I was kind of busy with the fact that my family was leaving the country because, you know, the recession kind of happened and hit us hard, so we lost so much money that we had to leave the house. So, you know, we kind of had a little more things busy with, aside from, hey, let's go watch this cool movie where robots beat the shit out of each other for the summer. But yeah, no, honestly, after all these years, once I was finally hearing about it and found out that apparently fucking Hugh Jackman was in it, oh yeah, and Steven Spielberg produced it, the same year he also produced Super 8 with J.J. Abrams, something good had to be out of it. At worst, it had to be decent. And watching the film, I gotta be honest, this is like one of the biggest 360 twists in my life. I fucking love this movie. It is a classic Rocky style, or even talking about Cobra Kai earlier, Karate Kid type sports story. It's classic sports, you know, deadbeat guy, you know, really fucked up his life, is trying to really prove himself worthy again and get back into the game, or something that he once loved in his youth, and finally relive those glory days with a little new twist, aka sometimes either with a literal karate master or just beating up some meat in a fucking meat locker. I think I completely missed the point of Rocky. It is that classic sports story with a twist. It's not a classic, you know, modern coming-of-age story. It's a film in the cyberpunk-like future of 2018. We are 2 years past Real Steel when they thought it was going to be a time of robots. And now I'm living in my room in fear of dying from a virus that even our president just caught. And Hugh Jackman's character, being once a famous boxer himself, being trained by one of the most legendary boxers of his world, is not the nicest guy of all time either, which is what's so interesting about it. Just to get into what I love so much, this is probably like got some of the most unique characters I've ever seen for a film. And it's almost had me kind of confused in the intro, because for the first act of this film and for much of the beginning, like the first 30 minutes, you kind of like hate Hugh Jackman's guts. Like, obviously this guy's supposed to be like Wolverine or the Greatest Showman and has an amazing voice, but Hugh Jackman's like a total dick in this movie. He meant to, in this film, the big part of the story is like a father and son bonding kind of story. You know, a father finally being able to reconnect with the son that he really hasn't been connecting with for the last years of his fucking life. The thing is, though, it's not really because Hugh Jackman didn't have a choice. He purposely didn't want to see the kid and was so focused with just fighting instead that he pretty much just neglected his child even after his wife died, and then still try to sell the kid to his what was it, the father-in-law? No, to the mom's sister for money. The dude is like evil dad 101 level right here. Like, it really makes you hate him, and it almost kind of gets you confused in the intro of the film of like, where the fuck is this going? Why am I supposed to care for this guy? This is supposed to be like the one I'm rooting for. I hate his guts. I hope he dies. But yet, interestingly enough, as the film goes, the arc continues and they actually start to bond. They actually start to care for each other. But most importantly, you know, because the big kind of deal breaker is that he tried to sell his own fucking son, throughout the film you start noticing that the character starts feeling more guilty and realizing, oh my god, wait, this is kind of my kid. And I've neglected him for all these years. I'm just gonna leave him for some stupid robots that I can't even compete with? It's kind of amazing, which even brings me to one of my favorite scenes in this movie that literally was the thing that made me fall in love with this film, was not the scenes of fighting robots, as cool as they are, I will get to those, was one specific scene midway through the film where Hugh Jackman's character is talking to his son when he finally has to give him up, because remember, he kind of just sold this kid to his... He finally starts confessing, though trying to talk to the kid, is admitting to himself that he was a piece of shit. He messed up. He was a terrible father and was literally selling his son for money. But now he doesn't even care about the robots anymore. He just wants to be with his son. And if there's anything he can do to fix it, he would. But he's sorry. It's kind of like the weirdest kind of emotional scene I've ever seen, where instead of feeling bad for something happening to someone, you kind of feel bad for someone actually confessing to something terrible they've done and absolutely feeling guilty about it. It's kind of amazing. This is like the most unique performance and possibly one of my favorites I've ever seen Hugh Jackman done. And I've seen him in Logan. This guy made me bawl my eyes out for the Wolverine dying. And I just witnessed him confessing to being a piece of shit, and he still had me crying. Hugh Jackman, you are a gem to this planet. Do not leave us. Chadwick Boseman was too much to lose. Please stay with us a little longer. Just a little longer. So yeah, clearly a pretty impressive strength of this film is without a doubt its characters. The main character of the film that I thought was going to be like the worst main character of all time, an absolute garbage person that for some reason I was supposed to like, becomes one of the biggest surprise twists by the end of the movie, where you end up rooting for the guy and actually kind of feeling bad for him once he starts realizing and admitting that he was a terrible guy and he messed up. He neglected his kid and he feels absolutely monstrous over it. To not even bring up the fact that the kid that he feels so guilty about is a hell of a character within itself. This kid is actually the coolest, smartest motherfucker of all time that literally managed to make a working fighting robot. And I'm still here trying to figure out how to use this goddamn camera. The kid's not just clever, he's funny, he's interesting. Obviously, you know, kind of having the backstory that his father was once a boxer, but then left him to pretty much rot and had no mom for like a good time. You know, he's seen some shit and clearly he's dealing with his own trauma. And it makes for such interesting, unique characters that I've really never seen before in a sports movie. That's what blows my mind. This movie is still supposed to be about sports, about these people that really love the sport they're involved with and want to really compete in it. And yet I'm learning about child neglect, father and son bonding, guilt, and facing your past. It's insane. What is this movie? I love it. The intro of a movie is a bull versus a robot, and the bull wins. I know I was talking about how it's robots fighting, but that's probably the coolest thing I've ever seen. Mother Nature for the win, bro. And that's what's really kind of amazing about it. Not really just the fighting itself, because obviously, you know, we've all seen Rocky. Boxing is amazing. Have you seen UFC? It's like the craziest thing ever. But watching robots beat the shit out of each other isn't just fun, it's interesting. And I feel like this is why Spielberg specifically produced this, and I feel like a lot of this magic touch that is in the movie really definitely comes from Steven Spielberg himself. Speaking of watching the kid learn how to fight with a robot, the CG is without a doubt the most impressive part of this movie. It's actually kind of mind-blowing how good it looks. Like, obviously you expected if you're gonna have a movie about robots fighting, it's gotta look a little believable, but once again, I was not thinking about this movie ever since I saw the ads for it all over the place in Peru. I did not think it was that good. These robots look real. Like, I believed every single time I saw these robots, from even the weird animated faces that they would have with the weird screens they had, were real. Everything is 100% like, that fucking thing is real. That thing, why is it not made yet? It could 100% become a real thing. As a matter of fact, I think they made some of them for practical effects in the movies. Just compute them and then boom, you got a real fighting robot. It's actually insane. It's insane that a simple, once again, sports movie about fighting robots had so much love and attention to detail in it, from its believability to its world building of how much love and history and lore comes to robots beating the shit out of each other. It's crazy. It's crazy. I love it. I freaking love this movie. Once again, it's not anything out of this world, not anything absolutely mind-blowing, except the fact that it's just a really fun twist on the sports genre, specifically when it comes to boxing films, with robots and Hugh Jackman. I mean, what more do you need to ask for? It's amazing. I freaking love this movie. I am gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. This movie was just way too much fun to watch. This is honestly really the definition of just a summer blockbuster. Fun, exciting, and even with some nice emotional twists at the end. It's everything you can want. Guys, please go watch this movie on Netflix. There's really nothing to do right now. I literally made a joke earlier in this video that it's Halloween, but especially for all my fellow LA people out there, knowing that the governor is begging us to not come out for this Halloween, there's really not much to do but to check what's on Netflix. The movie's fun. It's great. Trust me, you're gonna love it. Hugh Jackman really gets you, and the robots are fucking awesome. Once again, though, guys, thank you all for watching this video. This honestly really was a lot of fun to talk about. Again, I really enjoyed watching this movie, so I hope this managed to get you guys excited to watch it. It being the month of spooky season, I'm obviously gonna have to do some spooky films. I have plenty of horror films I'm quite excited to talk about. Even some new ones that come out. The New Mutants finally came out after like 3 years. I remember the first trailer coming out when I went to go fucking watch, what was it, Kong Skull Island? I remember that. I was in high school. Anyway, though, thank you all for watching. Of course, once again, new videos coming out very, very soon. But as always, I hope you all have a lovely day. See you guys.